90% of top performers all over the world, according to different researches, they are known to have emotional intelligence that is above 50%. Now, let me tell you a story. A well-known speaker was traveling, and he was at the airport one day. And as he was at the airport, what happened was somebody who hated him very much spat on his face. Now, I want to hear from you. If you were this speaker who was spat on the face, what were you going to do? Let's see what you will put in the comment section. Mr. MC, kindly help me to check the comments. If you were the one, just be honest with yourself. If you were this speaker, you are traveling, and somebody spits on your face unexpectedly, what would you do? Let's type in the comment section. Okay, somebody says, be horrified. Use it for my next story. Chop his head off. Anybody else? What would you do? We are still waiting. Shocked. Anybody else? Punch him in the face. Buddhist philosophy says that you should treat this person as your biggest teacher. Okay? Anybody else? Probably the last person. Pray for them. Okay. Different responses right there. That's very interesting. Thank you so much for taking part in this activity. So yes, let me tell you what this speaker did. What he did was that he took out his handkerchief and wiped his face. After wiping his face, he didn't do anything. And this hater learned a big lesson. He knelt down and he asked for forgiveness. He said, I hate that you are a terrible person. You love money too much, but I'm so surprised. You are such a nice person. You didn't do any harm to me. You didn't respond badly to me. So it depends on your level of emotional intelligence. Now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming through. And I appreciate you coming to attend this particular session. Mr. MC, I appreciate you. Organizers, I appreciate you. And I want to ask another question. What made you to attend this particular session? Let me see in the comment section. What brought you here? You could be doing other things. What caused you to particularly attend this session? Kindly send in the comment section. Desire to grow. Thank you. Others are still typing. I want to be a professional speaker like Charlotte, Chris, Bruce, and many others. Thank you, David. Who else? What caused you to attend this particular session?
There's some other comments there as well from Yalang.
Okay. Thank you.
Seeking to connect with other African speakers.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Any other comments that I didn't see? I want to grow my capacity and connect. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much for your participation. Now, the definition for emotional intelligence is the ability to manage your emotions and the emotions of other people. Your ability to manage your emotions and to also manage other people's emotions. It's not every one of us who is able to manage our emotions. If everybody knew how to manage emotions, we would not have fights in the boardroom. We would not have emails that are hateful. And some people, the reason why they are emotionally unstable is because of their past. It's not everyone who is good at dealing with their past. There are people who tend to put their pressures or their challenges, their backlog, their overload, they tend to shift it to other people. All those are signs of emotional instability. And over the years, we see that IQ or intelligent quotient has been, elevated more than emotional intelligence or EQ, emotional quotient. But now we realize that there are some people who are highly intelligent. In their mind, they are sharp. But when it comes to them being able to control themselves, whether they are overexcited or they are angry or they are disappointed, they are sad, they can't control themselves, yet they have a high level of IQ. Now, what are emotions? Emotions are strong feelings or mental reactions that can be triggered by probably something that has happened. Maybe there is an incident that has happened, or somebody has said something to you, or you have read something, or you have watched something, and then an emotion is triggered. Now, emotions can be positive and they can be negative. Positive emotions include being excited, being happy, being overjoyed, being overwhelmed in the positive sense. But we also have negative emotions, and negative emotions tend to cause more havoc. You find negative emotions such as sadness, anger, worry, anxiety, and so on. When you look at some of the damage that has happened to people's careers, to people's businesses, even as a speaker, when something goes wrong and you are about to speak, it takes a high level of emotional intelligence for you to be able to control yourself and still be able to speak regardless of what has happened. I remember one speaker who said while he was speaking on stage, he was jumping up and down, and it happened that his pants got torn. I don't know if it was you, what was going to happen? If your pants were torn and you are at a very important event, what would happen to your self-esteem? What would happen to your self-confidence? But this speaker actually decided to throw a joke and say to the people, you see, like what has happened to my pants right now? And he actually showed the people his pants. And people laughed their lungs out. And he continued, and people enjoyed the conversation. People understood and just, they sort of empathized with him, but they understood that these things do happen. And this guy is not even worried about it. He was able to control himself. Unfortunately, majority of people that we come across, whether it's our colleagues, it's our family members, it's our customers, it's our audience, it's not everyone who is good at controlling their emotions. Now, we want to talk a little bit more of what happens when you are on stage, or even before you are on stage. What are some of the things that you need to do as a speaker, apart from raising your self-esteem, raising your self-confidence? What are some of the things? For example, you need to prepare in advance and prepare something sensible, something that will be useful to the people that you are speaking to. I know one speaker, I had one speaker saying, you audience, I cannot give you very good stuff because you didn't pay. It's a free event, so I'm not going to give you quality talk. I was shocked. You mean people have left Netflix, people have left YouTube, people have left everything they could have been doing to come and listen to you. This is your opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. And who knows, these people can become your evangelists. They go around, they tell people about you. But here you are wasting their time and wasting your time, which means you are actually negatively affecting the emotions of the audience, because the audience now feel like they are wasting their time too. Now, what are some of the elements of emotional intelligence that are very important on your journey, particularly as a speaker. But before I go there, I just want to give you a story of what happened 1 year when I was working in a certain place. The managing director, he had a certain level of temper that I had never seen. Very intelligent man, very good man, very successful millionaire. So I was hired as an independent financial advisor, and I was also doing training. So we were going into organizations to train people on financial wellness. Within 1 week of being hired, I already saw that there was a big problem in this company. Because when the MD is on the phone, it could be people for power or people for water utilities who will have called to say your office is owing. He will shout on top of his voice. It was bad. And I could hear day in, day out, he's either shouting at customers, he's shouting at employees, he's shouting at everyone. And what I did was, as part of my emotional intelligence building, what I did is I studied his habits. And I realized that this MD, when you see his door, the door for his office, when you see it closed completely, it means his heart is closed completely. He doesn't want anybody in his office. So when his door is completely closed, no matter what I want, I will not knock on his door. When his door is half closed, you know that you can enter at your own risk. When his door is wide open, oh, that's the day. If you wanted a salary raise, or you wanted to discuss anything about business, about personal life, or whatever it is, when his door is wide open, that's the day. You can get in and have a good chat with him. So sometimes we fail to study people and we put ourselves in trouble because we are saying emotional intelligence is not just about you managing your emotions, but it's also about managing other people's emotions. So you realize when I began, I said that the emotions can be positive, they can be negative. What gets you excited, what makes you to laugh and roar on the floor could actually be so annoying to other people. So you can get excited and you start jumping up and down, but other people's emotions can be negatively affected because of you. So you need to be able to control both the positive emotions and the negative emotions. So what are some of those elements that we should look at when we are controlling or we are growing in terms of emotional intelligence? Number one is self-awareness. Daniel Goleman has done quite a lot of work on emotional intelligence. And one of the things that he talks about is self-awareness. When we talk of self-awareness, we are just simply saying, do you know your emotions? Do you understand your emotions? Many times we are so busy trying to understand other people and we don't even understand ourselves. So you need to be self-aware. Be aware of your emotions. Be aware of that, because that anger could put you in trouble. Be aware of your sadness. It could put you into depression. When you are angry, for example, you are most likely to send an angry email to your employee. You are most likely to punch a fellow worker. We have seen some people actually punching customers. That's lack of emotional intelligence. So self-awareness is the first thing that we can talk about there. And the next thing is self-motivation. We see it over and over again, that even when you are hiring people, you want to make sure you are hiring people that are self-motivated, that have intrinsic motivation. It's within their heart. Nobody usually has time to motivate you. You need to be self-motivated. Now, imagine for a speaker, you actually need to be self-motivated all the time because you are going to face different customers. You're going to face different audience. When you are self-motivated, regardless of the circumstances, your self-esteem will be high, your self-confidence will be high, and you'll be able to deliver. So self-motivation is very important. And the third thing is empathy. Empathy is being able to put yourself in other people's shoes. You feel for others. There are people who say, I don't care what another person says to me. Well, I understand they mean it for good. When you say, I don't care what people say, maybe you are just saying, I don't want to be controlled by other people's thoughts all the time. But if you are going to be a successful speaker, for example, you need to care. You need to be empathetic. Even preparing well in time and delivering a good message and being concerned about getting feedback, it also shows you are empathetic. It's important for every one of us to learn to be empathetic. So before you go on stage, for example, you need to understand whom you are talking to. It's part of empathy. Who am I talking to? Like tomorrow, I'm speaking at a business event. I've already asked them, what sort of people am I talking to? What are their age groups? What do they do in life? So that when I get there, I don't affect people's emotions negatively. And then the fourth thing is social, we can say socialization, all right? Or building social skills. How do you relate with your colleagues? How do you relate with your audience? How do you relate with your clients? Because we know as speakers, it's not just about giving keynotes. Some speakers are consultants, some speakers are coaches, some are executive coaches, business coaches, and relationship coaches, and so on. So what is your level of emotional intelligence in terms of relating with people? Are you a good listener? When people are talking, do you listen? Or probably you do as if you are listening, but what you are actually doing is you are waiting for your turn to begin to talk. It's important for us to learn to be active listeners. When you actively listen, you are showing a high level of emotional intelligence. Not only that, when you are listening, you are saying to the other person, you are precious, you are important. There is this book written by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read it and it made a huge difference in my life. So another thing that we expect you, it's not just about your audience, it's even about your family. Are you a good listener? Can you network? Are you not an interrupter when you are communicating with people? When you speak, do you think first? Or you just speak anyhow? You don't care how people feel? Another thing I've also seen, like I said earlier, what can be funny for you may not be funny for your audience. That's why it's important also to be careful what sort of jokes you throw at your audience. What sort of jokes you throw at your colleagues. What sort of jokes you throw at your family members. I remember one of my mentors saying to me, all jokes are bad. At first, when I heard that, I didn't understand. I was wondering, what was he talking about? But with the time, I realized that the jokes you throw, especially, you see, I stay in Botswana. There are certain jokes that I can throw that Botswana people can find funny. But probably when I throw that same joke, somebody in Cameroon or South Africa or Zambia may not find it funny. What about when you are going global and you throw certain jokes and you actually negatively impact on the emotions of the audience? So it's very important for us to always remember that. Now, I was telling you about my boss, the one who was throwing tantrums at everyone. And I had to study him. So what happened there was I didn't want to blame him, but I learned to manage my emotions and to manage his emotions at the same time. So we said emotional intelligence is very key. Most top performers are known to have emotional intelligence that is above 50%. As we come to an end, remember to check your self-awareness. How much do you understand your emotions? That helps you because then you will be able to control your emotions. Number two, we talked about self-motivation. It's important for you to find ways to stay motivated, whether it's coming through reading, or it's coming through watching motivational videos, or it's coming through doing your favorite charity activities. Self-motivation is very key. And of course, we talked about empathy. Put yourself in other people's shoes. This includes your colleagues, it includes your family members, it includes anybody you come across, including your clients and your audience. And finally, we say your social skills. You need to sharpen your social skills so that you are able to relate with other people well and be able to grow your business. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. Over to you, MC.
Wow, 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 wow. Guys, please, let's give the good doctor a big round of applause. Wasn't that amazing, amazing, amazing? You guys can clearly see that you're in the right place. Now, before I go any further, my good friend Ziggy mentioned that my audio wasn't very clear, so I'd like to sort it out now. What does my audio sound like? Can you guys hear me clearly? Do I need to make any further adjustments?